What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another brand new installment of Renegades Reviews, exclusively here as always on the Casa D18 Studios channel. I, of course, am your host, the Renegade JJ Williams, and today we go back to the story of Karis the Mummy to finish up his official run, and we discuss the Mummy's Curse. starring Lon Chaney Jr., Dennis Moore, Kay Harding, Virginia Christine, Addison Richards, Peter Coe, Martin Kozlek, Kurt Kutch, Ann Cody, Napoleon Simpson, and archive footage of Tom Tyler. What's going on, everybody? Thank you for joining me here once again for another brand new installment of Renegades Reviews. And like I said during the introduction, today we're going to officially wrap up the story of Karis, the mummy, and we're going to take a look at the mummy's curse, the third time that Lon Chaney Jr. stepped into the role of Karis, and we even feature a little bit of archive footage of Tom Tyler from the mummy's hand as Karis as well. Now, as our movie opens, the Southern Engineering Company is attempting to drain the local swamps for the public good. However, their efforts are being hampered by the superstitions of the workers, who believe that the area is haunted by Karis, the mummy, and his bride. Two representatives from the Scripps Museum arrive on the scene, a Dr. James Halsey and a Dr. Ilzor Zondab, and they present their credentials to the head of the project, Pat Walsh. The two men have come to search the area for the missing mummies, who were buried in the swamp years earlier. Their conversation is interrupted, however, by the news that a workman has been murdered within the swamps. The evidence found at the scene convinces Halsey that the murderer has found the mummy of Karis. Later that evening, Zandab sneaks into the swamp and meets Ragheb. Now, Ragheb is a disciple of the Arkham sect, and Zandab is revealed to secretly be a high priest. We learn that the follower killed the worker who unearthed Karis and has taken the immobile monster to a deserted monastery. Zandab then explains the legend of Karis, as well as Anaka, to Ragheb, and he begins to brew the tana leaves and giving the instructions on how to use them. And this is where we see the archival footage of Tom Tyler from the mummy's hand, is when we break down and explain the story once again. Now, when the old sacristan of the monastery intrudes on their ritual, he is promptly executed by a now risen Karis. Meanwhile, the mummy of Anaka rises from the swamp after being partially uncovered by a bulldozer during the excavation. Anaka then immerses herself in a pond nearby and washes away the mud, revealing a beautiful young woman. Cajun Joe finds the girl wandering listlessly in the swamps, calling out the name of Karis. Cajun Joe then takes her to Tante Berth, who is the owner of a local pub, and helps to aid Anaka. Karis ends up discovering Anaka under Tante Berth's care and murders Berth as Anaka flees into the night. Princess Anaka is soon discovered lying unconscious beside the road by Halsey and Betty Walsh, who is the niece of Pat Walsh. While Anaka is in their care, and although suffering from amnesia, she displays an incredible knowledge of ancient Egypt. Her stay at Halsey's camp is once again interrupted by the appearance of Karis, and the kindly physician, Dr. Cooper, is then killed. Anaka once again goes on the run, and Halsey and the others go in search of her, fleeing the monster after Karis attacks and kills Cajun Joe. Anaka comes to Betty's tent seeking refuge. However, Karis is not far behind, as he enters the tent and whisks away his princess and leaves the horrified Betty unhurt. Betty asks Ragheb for his assistance in finding Dr. Halsey, but the treacherous disciple has other ideas and takes her to the monastery instead. Zandab, having already administered the Tana fluid to the young Anaka, is angered to find Ragheb making advances on Betty. Zandab orders Betty's death, but Ragheb kills Zandab instead. Halsey then arrives, having tracked them from the camp after finding Betty's tent destroyed. A struggle ensues between Ragheb and Halsey until Karis intervenes. The creature, sensing Ragheb's betrayal, advances on his former ally. Locking himself inside of a cell-like room, Ragheb is powerless to do anything other than watch as Karis literally brings down the walls on the two of them. And as our movie ends, Halsey, Betty, and the rest find the mummified remains of Anaka in the adjoining room. I actually thoroughly enjoyed this end to the saga. The major thing that really attracted me to this one was we finally got a reveal of Princess Anaka. After all these movies and hearing the story and the tale of Karis and Anaka, and at best seeing Anaka in her mummified form, to actually get her out of her wrappings, to get her cleaned off within the pond, to reveal this gorgeous young woman and see what the Princess Anaka looked like before her mummification. I thoroughly enjoyed that aspect of this film. It was a very slow build over 4 films, but the payoff, I feel, was worth it. And then once again, we have Karis, who now knowing that she is alive and wandering, all he wants to do is reunite with her. So you've got that turmoil within him, and even though you can't really emote a lot of emotions through the wrappings of the bandages, you can feel Karis's pain, as all he wants is to reunite with his love. It's such a tragic tale because he never gets to reunite with her. He's always on the chase for her, and he never gets that moment where they get to come back together as they should have been back in ancient Egypt. Very sad, very tragic ending to the Mummy story. And yes, we will be talking about the Mummy once more in quite a few days, because we're going to have the Abbott and Costello meet the Mummy once that falls into the timeline as well. But as far as the official Karis storyline that is ran for 4 films, the only film that had nothing to do with Karis was the original Karloff Mummy. That was Imhotep and Anck-su-namun. This has been Karis and Anaka. And honestly, I've enjoyed the Karis and Anaka story more than I enjoyed the Imhotep and Anck-su-namun story. Personally, I'm curious what my fans think out there. Let me know. When it comes to my rating of this film, though, I'm not going to give it super high marks, but I feel like it's a solid 3.5-star film. I do feel like some of the characters were caricatures of some stereotypes that went on during the time of the filming of this. And that's all I'm going to say about that. And watching some of those was a little hard this day and age, but again, you've got to put the films in their context. When they were made, was it right then? No, but it was a little bit more commonplace. So it was a little bit more, I don't want to say accepted, but kind of turned the other cheek on it. Nowadays, try and make a film with those kind of stereotypes and caricatures, oh no, it would be over. But 3.5 out of 5 stars. I feel this was a really good, solid ending to the Karis storyline, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. I feel like it had a strong beginning, a strong ending, a so-so second act, and a better than so-so third act. So you go, if I had to do a ranking of the 4 Karis stories, it would be The Mummy's Hand, this one, The Mummy's Curse, and then The Mummy's Ghost and The Mummy's Tomb. So movie 2, movie 5, movie 4, movie 3. Because movie 1 was Imhotep. That was a different mummy. So 2, 5, 4, 3 is the way I would rank them in order from best to worst. Again, curious what you guys think. Those of you that have seen the Mummy Saga on the Universal Legacy Collection, let me know. If you're watching the premiere, leave your thoughts and comments over here. If you're watching on demand later in the day, leave your thoughts and comments down there. Whatever you do, though, when you get out there on the social media, let's try to get those hashtags trending. Hashtag Casa D18 Studios, hashtag Renegades Reviews, hashtag Renegade Returns, and of course, the ever popular hashtag Shenanigans. We interrupt this episode of Renegades Reviews for an important announcement about
merchandising.
Merchandising? What's that?
Merchandising. Come, I'll show you. Merchandising, where the real money's made.
Make sure you go over to teespring.com/stores/Jeff Meacham Network for all the t-shirts you see here from the West Coast professor, Jeff Meacham himself. You can get shirts for the Jeff Meacham Network, Talk Wrestling, as well as the red and gold Meachamania shirts. And while you're there, don't forget to get your shirts of the Casa D18 Studios Brotherhood, the Dads on Wrestling shirt, the Renegade JJ Williams, Statboy Sports Bar, and the hashtag Statboy Approved shirt. Make sure you go over to teespring.com/stores/Jeff Meacham Network and score your shirts today. Make sure you guys tune in tomorrow, right back here on the Casa D18 Studios channel, for another brand new installment of Renegades Reviews, when we conclude the official Dracula chapter of the Universal Monsters with 1945's House of Dracula, starring Lon Chaney Jr. in the role of the Wolfman, John Carradine once again in the role of Dracula, Martha O'Driscoll, Lionel Atwell, Onslow Stevens, Jane Addams, and Glenn Strange once again in the role of the Frankenstein monster. You're not going to want to miss out on that one. Right back here tomorrow on an all-new Renegades Reviews, exclusively as always on the Casa D18 Studios channel. Thank you very much to all my loyal fans and viewers who tuned in today for the premiere, leaving your thoughts and comments over here. I greatly appreciate each and every one of you. Likewise, all my loyal fans and viewers out there tuning in a little bit later in the day, watching on demand, leaving your thoughts and comments down here. Thank you very much. I greatly appreciate each and every one of you. I appreciate all my loyal fans and viewers out there that tune in on a regular basis. Show me that love, show me that support. Go back to the archives, checking out old episodes of Renegade Wrestling, Dads on Wrestling, After the Bell with Jeff Meacham, Stat Boy Rants, just helping me boost up those viewership hours so I can eventually get monetized and make some money on this endeavor. Thank you very much to each and every one of you who tuned in and joined me today, and I will see you guys next time.